Hey, beautiful humans. I hope everyone is doing amazing and having a fantastic day and really looking after each other. I'm David, and I'm here to say something I never thought I'd be saying. I never thought I would make a video like this. Okay, so I'm just going to say it. I'm no longer not vegan. This has been a journey for me, and it's been so emotional. I hope that you can watch this video and keep an open mind and an open heart, and please watch the whole thing before you leave a comment. This is my truth. This is my lived experience, and I feel like I need to say this today. So what I have to say is important, okay? So I'm going to say it. As you all know, about 32 years ago, I was born, and I decided to start living in a way that used animal products, and eating animal products like meat, dairy, eggs, and using animal products like wearing leather, betting on horse racing and going to see horse racing, entertainment as well. Things were going well. Things were good. I felt good. I thought this was the best way to live. I started to develop these really extreme psychological issues, guilt and shame. And it was overwhelming. I couldn't bear it. It was horrible. I was losing sleep. I couldn't eat properly. I felt sick all the time. I felt like I was losing my hair with the stress. My skin was terrible. I broke out, and it felt like something had caused all of this at the same time. And I just needed to figure out what this was. I was in a really, really dark place, and I realized these symptoms, they weren't going away. So I had to see a doctor. Now, this is where the story gets a bit crazy, and the next bit might trigger a lot of you. You might be very upset with what I'm about to say. You might have a lot of disagreements, a lot of arguments with me, but look, this is how it went down, okay? Just bear with me, and this is what really happened. My doctor told me that I was experiencing something called empathy for animals. Apparently, empathy for animals is this feeling that you get when you see animals going through hell on earth for things that you have paid for. When you're responsible for the horrors that are happening to them, the empathy for animals is what causes you to feel the guilt and the shame. And also it shows that you're not a piece of shit. That's what the doctor told me. It's that if you feel this way, then it's a good thing, actually. That if you don't feel this way, then it's most likely that you're a piece of shit. When you have empathy for animals, unlike being a piece of shit, you get the urge to want to do something about what's happening to them that you're responsible for. And that's where the guilt and the shame comes in. It's like almost the symptoms are trying to get you to do something. This is what he explained. He did advise me to take some tests to make absolutely sure that it was empathy for animals that I had and not something else. So I took his advice and I did some tests. The test he recommended was for me to research the EU farming and slaughter standards, to look at the highest welfare restrictions and regulations on animal farming and slaughter, and taking it from there, no propaganda or anything like that, to actually look at what the best standards are, the EU standards for these animals, and see how that made me feel. I learned that one of the legal ways to kill a sick baby pig is to grab them by the back of the legs and slam them down onto concrete multiple times until they're dead. I learned that the legal and most common way of killing pigs is to actually lower them into a CO2 gas chamber and gas them to death. I learned one of the legal ways to kill chickens is to first electrocute them and then slit their throats. And I learned that the legal way of killing cows is to shoot them in the head and slit their throats. After learning all of this, I was still having those feelings of guilt and shame. So I took all of this to my doctor, and he checked the results and said yes, and fully diagnosed me with empathy for animals. He warned me that if I left this untreated, if I left my empathy for animals untreated, I might end up making pathetic, sorry excuses to keep on abusing animals and try to justify my lifestyle by saying things like, I need salmon and eggs for health reasons, or animals don't feel pain and that's what they're bred for. What would our ancestors do? We've got canine teeth for meat, and many, many more. Honestly, the things that he was saying that I might say if I didn't deal with my empathy for animals were just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous, embarrassing, pathetic. And he said that pretending that all of these things aren't happening to animals is actually an option, but Unfortunately, this often leads to problems in later life when your lies and bullshit catch up with you. So it's really not a solution to the problem. So after 32 years of this animal abusing lifestyle, I was faced with the prospect of no longer being not vegan. But my empathy for animals was real. It was diagnosed by a doctor. I had to become not vegan to deal with this problem. This is the only way I could do it. I started my new life as a no longer not vegan by introducing tofu. I figured this was an easy way for me to get in, but I tell you, buying it at the supermarket was just so weird. You know, like picking it up off the shelf and putting it in. I felt like everyone was looking at me and saying, hey, that's a not vegan. That guy's not vegan. That guy's definitely no longer not vegan. I felt like everyone knew. It was so weird, honestly, so weird. And the cashier was also, I just felt it, you know, people were looking at me. It was weird. It was a very surreal experience. I cooked it up with some sauce and some rice and some vegetables. And honestly, the moment that tofu hit my mouth, it was like an explosion had gone off in my brain. It was like the weight of all the guilt, the shame just became lifted when I replaced those animal products with these plant-based products. It was just like heaven. I can't describe the feeling, the lift of the depression lifted, the sadness lifted, the stress, the fear, all of the problems I've been having just felt so much less, and it felt like everything was going to be okay. Within the first week of eating this way and not eating or using any animal products, my skin had improved, my sleep had improved, my mood had improved, simply because I no longer had the intense guilt and the shame and the stress of all of that, because now I was, what the doctor was saying, I was living consistently with my empathy for animals. That's what he said would be the solution. That's what he said the treatment would be. And well, it worked. It really worked. I can't believe I spent so long suffering from all this guilt and this shame, when all I had to do was embrace my empathy for animals by not paying for them to go through hell in farms and slaughterhouses. Honestly, it feels like I'm back. Like, I've been gone for a long time and now I'm back. Like, I've rediscovered me. Finally, like the true me is back in the room. I feel just so much better. I just, sorry. I promised I wouldn't get emotional, but oh, it's been an emotional journey. You've no idea how much this has taken out of me and how so happy I am now. For 32 years, I was not vegan. And now I would never, ever recommend anyone live that way. Empathy for animals is serious. If you have empathy for animals and you're not vegan, you may develop really serious guilt and shame, the same symptoms I was having. You need to be really careful, guys. You really need to consider being not vegan. Being not vegan has serious consequences for your health and for the animals. It really, I just can't believe I spent so long living that way. The not vegan world is like a cult. It tricks you into thinking that this is a great way to live. And when you become no longer not vegan, people really turn on you. They laugh at you, they joke about you. You're the butt of most people's jokes in most situations. And they also sometimes get really upset with you. It's like you've left the cult and then they all turn on you the second you leave the cult. They're like, oh, he's no longer not vegan. Oh, we're all still not vegan. That guy needs to get out of here. He's not welcome here. This is how people can act. It's really sickening how cult-like people who are not vegan are. I think it's most likely due to the guilt and the shame they have, because they have empathy for animals, but they're not vegan. So they're going through those symptoms that I had, and instead of dealing with it, they take it out on the people who are no longer not vegan, because the people who are no longer not vegan make them feel even more guilty and even more ashamed about being not vegan. I know this comes as a surprise for most of you, and I know a lot of you are going to be really disappointed, but look, it is what it is. This is me. I'm no longer not vegan. This is the way I'm living. This is what I'm doing. This is my life now. And I now truly believe that living without abusing animals is the right way to live. I highly recommend you become no longer not vegan. If you'd like to join me and also be no longer not vegan, you can click the link in the pinned comment for a free starter pack where professionals and loads of awesome volunteers are ready to help you. It's 100% free. This video is not sponsored. I just think that is a great program. And I really, really encourage you to click that link and join me and start your new life being not vegan. Stay strong, stay loving, and stay not vegan.